Good Thursday morning, everybody. July 11th, 2024. You know, I always give the year, even though you can see it, because if you're just listening and not watching, you don't know what year it is.
That's true.
They may be listening to this 100 years from now.
Yeah.
And they'll want to know what year it was. I'm Mike Smith, along with
Aaron Glenn.
And we are here for our daily topics program, Litter Media Live on Facebook Live. This program eventually makes its way to YouTube.
Yes, and Spotify.
And Spotify, as well as on Litter Media Radio. So it's good to have you with us. We always assume that maybe somebody is watching for the first time and wondering, what is it that you guys do? Well, we go through, as we said, a daily news topics. We stress or focus more on the positive news that's making news in our area. Not that somebody, shouldn't do the bad stories. We just don't do that. We let other media take care of that. But we also try to give you some local sports, have a laugh or two if we can think of something funny, and usually finish out with this date in history. And it's not funny today. And, well, when you look back at it, the way it happened, it might be kind of...
It's petty.
These guys were stupid.
Yeah.
But you'll find out what that's all about when we get to that point. But we usually start out with the weather and a little warmer today. Yesterday was just kind of an odd day.
Yeah, it felt like the middle of May. It
was cloudy most of the day. And I can't even say it was raining. It was just kind of like a mist.
There were some drizzles.
It was just like misting all day. But that, again, was the remnants of Hurricane Beryl that's now completely made its way out of our area. I think it was joining up with some kind of a front up in New England states, and that's where they were talking about several inches of rain.
Oh, okay.
You ever see the movie The Perfect Storm, which was based on a true story? It's where this is like a made-up disaster film, but it was like a hurricane combined with a nor'easter, which is common in the New England states, which is a big storm of its own. And they were calling it like the storm of the century or something, but it was a horrible result. But yeah, they're having some of that nasty stuff up in the northeastern United States today. But for us, we're looking at sunshine on this Thursday with a high of 87. Looks like we might dip down into the 60s for the overnight low. And then tomorrow, again, sunny and 87, warming up for the weekend, and highs around 90 or low 90s. So if you're dressed up in a tuxedo for a wedding.
Luckily, I don't have to wear a jacket.
Is that right?
Luckily.
Are you going to be indoors like air-conditioned church or something like that?
Yes.
Well, you're a lucky man. Some of our relatives chose to get married on the hottest days of the century.
Yeah.
It was like sweat was just pouring off of us. So when we come back, we'll take a look at our daily topics, which includes a special edition that we had yesterday morning about the sales at the Ross County Fair this year. All that's coming up here on Litter Media Live. Scioto Valley Dumpsters, they want to help you get junk off your property. Big cleanup projects that you might be having. These are the folks to call for the big orange dumpsters, 253-8389, and tell Carl that Aaron, Mike, and Dan sent you.
I'm a busy woman, and I'm not ready to slow down.
Tiffany's hip pain was interfering with her career and active lifestyle until she came to the Adina Orthopedic and Spine Institute.
Dr. Meshbach told me about same-day surgery. I said, I want it now, and I wanted it yesterday.
After a successful procedure, Tiffany was home the very same day and on her way back to enjoying the community she calls home. At Adina, we do what we love, so you can too.
For transportation options in Ross County, call Ross County Health District's Mobility Management Team, 740-779-9652.
Whenever I first applied for the Archways opportunity, do I have to pay this back? Do I have to do that? Like, is it a loan? And it's not. It's a scholarship. A goal of mine is to graduate college debt-free. If you're a crew member, you get $2,500 a year, and if you're a manager, you get $3,000. And especially if you're going locally to college, like to the branch or something like that, it's really helpful.
Each week, Litter Media presents the Neil Coleman Insurance Wyandotte Mutual Player of the Week. If you have an athlete to nominate, any amateur athlete is eligible. Simply visit littermedia.com and click on Player of the Week. At the end of the year, we'll announce the Player of the Year. Make your nominations now at littermedia.com. Click on Player of the Week.
And we'll be telling you who that athlete of the week is for this week at the end of our sportscast coming up here in just a little bit. If you missed our full-length special edition interview yesterday, we spoke with Kacey Shaffer of the Ross County Junior Fair Sale Committee and also Ross County Senior Fair Board member Kelley VanHoose about 4 changes that are going to be taking place in this year's Ross County Fair livestock sales.
We met with some buyers over the winter to decide what changes we wanted to make for the 2024 fair. The first change, we work with the auction company, and they are going to come on site to the fairgrounds earlier this year. On Monday and Tuesday, and Wednesday, they will have office hours in the auction office in the show arena from 11 a.m. to 6 p.m., which will be different from last year. Buyers can stop by that office during those hours to register as a buyer for the sales later in the week, or they can stop by and make their add-ons ahead of the sales. So that way they can hopefully cut down on the line that we had last year. On our other change is starting July 22nd through August 23rd. We're going to have a whole month this year. Buyers can contact American Realty and Auction Company directly in their office, and they will be able to do add-ons over the phone. So they'll even be able to do that for a week after the fair.
That was Kelley Shaffer speaking. Kelley VanHoose on the right. She texted me just before we went on the show today and said that on the Ross County Fair website, they have updated all of the information for 2024. Yesterday when we checked, it was still showing last year's, but Kelley said all of that's been updated. So everything they talked about, you can find in our website story at littermedia.com, including this interview.
In accordance with the new ODE cell phones in schools policy, Pike County Career and Technology Center is implementing lock boxes for all student cell phones. Each student will have their own box and key to securely store their phone throughout the day. In the morning, you lock your cell phone in your designated box, and in the afternoon, you pick up your cell phone from your box on your way home.
Now, you might be reminded of a story we had a month or so ago on littermedia.com where the state of Ohio, the legislature, it was signed by the governor, that said schools have to have some kind of policy regardless of what it is. So it's up to each individual school district to come up with their own policy, but they just can't say, well, we're not doing anything.
Right.
Even if they don't do anything, we got to say, we're not doing anything, I guess. So we'll see how that comes about. I've already sent a text to Dan Ramey that we're going to have that policy for you.
Okay.
You got to check your phone at the door.
But I'm reading my notes off my phone right now.
You'll have to do like Dan does and print it out. Beginning on Monday, July the 15th, the Ross County Health District's Public Health Nursing Clinic will be open by appointment Mondays through Wednesdays from 8 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. This is a change. Call 775-1146 to schedule your appointment.
The Pars in the Park program at Circleville's Ted Lewis Park continues each Monday and Wednesday through July 31st. Each event runs from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. and is designed for students entering 1st through 6th grade. Expect education, arts and crafts, fun, and games.
And we learned that PARS,
I don't remember what it stands for.
Stands for the Pickaway Area Recovery Services.
There you go.
There's a new date and time for the Vinton County Junior Fair Parade. The parade is going to be held July the 19th at 6:30 p.m. with the parade lineup at the old high school location in MacArthur starting at 5 p.m.
Pickaway County Offices will conduct a public community educational event September 3rd at the Pickaway County Fairgrounds Heritage Hall between 5:30 p.m. and 7:30 p.m. County office holders and their representatives will be on hand to answer your questions about the respective offices and departments.
Ohio Lieutenant Governor John Husted, who is also director of Innovate Ohio, along with Andy Wilson, director of the Ohio Department of Public Safety, were joined by law enforcement leaders in Vandalia, Ohio earlier this week to announce a new resource that will assist local law enforcement agencies with recruiting efforts. The new, user-friendly, and free website, powered by OhioMeansJobs.com, aims to better connect law enforcement agencies across Ohio with potential employees, addressing a need brought forward by law enforcement officials. So if you want to be a sheriff deputy or a police officer, check this out. It might be something worth your while. Two notes in our road report today. In the city of Chillicothe, this is going on now. It started about an hour ago, and it goes through 10 o'clock tonight. East 2nd Street between North Mulberry Street and North Paint Street are closed for the First Thursday event in front of the Majestic Theater. Also, an update on Superload number 13. They have already launched in northern Ross County. They're going through Pickaway County. They'll make their stop, I think, up in the Franklin County area sometime probably within the next hour or so. But they should be out of Pickaway County sometime today. That's a look at our news topics for the day. Number of things to talk about in sports, not just how the baseball scene is going, but also our athlete of the week. All that coming up on Litter Media Live.
Haynes Total Healthcare Center is celebrating 50 years of serving the chiropractic, physical therapy, and nutritional needs of the community. Click on this ad anywhere you see it on littermedia.com, and it will take you right to their website to learn more. HaynesHealth.com.
Are you looking for a beer that satisfies your thirst and love of country? Armed Forces Brewing Company brews beer for patriots. Celebrate freedom with every sip. Armed Forces Brewing Company. Freedom never tasted so good.
Wherever you are, you're there for a reason. You shouldn't have to make a trip to the branch just to deposit a check. Skip the trip and use our mobile app to easily and securely deposit checks from your phone. Day or night, wherever you are, or whatever you're doing, download the Kingston National Bank Mobility app today.
This is Andy Tomlinson. When insuring what's important to you, our agents are there when you need us the most. Tomlinson Insurance, for the best coverage at the best cost. Visit us online at tomlinsonins.com to learn more.
Taking a look at sports, we'd been talking lately about how the Chillicothe Paints are absolutely pummeling people. Well, what goes around came around last night. The Paints at Johnstown lost 17-0.
I'd like to apologize. I feel like this is my fault.
You cursed. And that, of course, it's like
you and the Blue Jackets.
Yeah, really. Of course, typically they play 9 innings, but when you have the 10-run rule in the Prospect League, you only play 7, and that's all the Mill Rats needed last night. I believe they're back at it again tonight. I kept looking for the tweet or the X post, and nothing was coming around. And then I checked the website and I saw, that's why.
They were just ashamed.
That's why they did not want to mention, but back at it again tonight for the Paints.
The Reds had a comeback rally from a 5-1 deficit last night, only to lose to the Rockies 6-5. The series wraps up this afternoon.
That'll be a 1:10 first pitch today.
Yeah. And the Guardians also fell to the Tigers 5-4. With the series wrapping up today.
I was, beaten up on the Reds because the Tigers swept them, even though they were 8 under 500. But they've been giving the Guardians a rough time here of late. And our athlete of the week, congratulations to the Neil Coleman Wyandotte Mutual Player of the Week, Will Rettig of the Chillicothe Paints baseball team. He is the Prospect League Pitcher of the Week. He threw 7 innings of shutout baseball with 10 strikeouts. He had a 2-0 record. And congratulations, Will, on not only recognition by the Prospect League, but also with the Neil Coleman Wyandotte Mutual Player of the Week. If you would like to nominate an amateur athlete for our honor, you can send that to littermedia.com. And if you can send some stats along with it, that's helpful for us to make a judgment on which one of the athletes that comes to our attention gets that honor. When we come back, we'll close out with this date in history. They were getting nasty, two guys with one another. This feud had been going on for years, but it came to a dramatic conclusion on this date in 1804. All that's coming up next on Litter Media Live.
Litter Quality Propane. There's no bill when there's a fill. Contact Litter Quality Propane today about our metered gas service at litterpropane.com.
Discover Ross County. From the breathtaking outdoor adventures to the historic sights of Chillicothe and family-friendly events and festivals. Explore more at visitchillicotheohio.com or download the free mobile app today.
Find a career you love with Pickaway Ross Adult Education. Skilled trades careers are in high demand with no signs of slowing down. Pickaway Ross offers career training programs with expert instructors and hands-on learning tactics to create a variety of opportunities. Visit our website for more information.
Now that's one fast mower. Take command of your lawn with Dixie Chopper, the world's fastest lawnmower.
Whether it's heating, cooling, or plumbing needs that you have in your home or business, give Accurate a call. They also do contract work for businesses as well as in your home. These are the folks to call. Dependable. They are trusted comfort advisors for more than 4 decades. Accurate heating, cooling, and plumbing. When you crack your knuckles, and you were doing that the other day, I was not here, but I could hear it coming out over the microphone.
But it's way down here. I didn't think you could hear it.
Yeah, you can hear it, and you'll give yourself arthritis if you keep doing that.
That's a myth. That's not real.
You keep doing it because I did it as a kid, and now I'm paying for it. On this date in 1804, in one of the most famous duels in American history, Vice President Aaron Burr fatally shoots his longtime political antagonist, Alexander Hamilton. Hamilton, a leading Federalist and the chief architect of the nation's political economy, died the following day. Affairs of honor were commonplace in America at the time, and the complex rules governing them usually led to an honorable resolution before the actual firing of weapons. The enemies met at 7 a.m. in the dueling grounds near Weehawken, New Jersey. There are conflicting accounts of what actually happened next. According to Hamilton's assistant, which is often called a second, and who witnessed the duel, claimed that Hamilton decided the duel was morally wrong and deliberately fired into the air. Burr's second claimed that Hamilton fired at him and missed. So what happened next is agreed upon that Burr shot Hamilton in the stomach and the bullet lodged next to his spine.
In this drawing, it looks like he got shot in the eye.
Well, yeah, unless he's just got, but yeah, they took him back to New York, and Hamilton died the next day. You said you saw the...
I've seen it it's on Disney
Hamilton.
Plus, so you can watch it on there.
A lot of people only knew him as being on the $10 bill.
Yeah.
He was never president, obviously.
He wasn't?
No.
Him and Ben Franklin were my two favorites.
Yeah, and Ben wasn't president either. But I did see Hamilton's grave. I think I told this story on the air not too long ago. When we were in New York City on a relief mission trip, we were walking by Trinity Church, and the graveyard is right there next to the church, and there is Hamilton's tombstone or his gravestone. And the group that I was with, because I was lingering looking at the cemetery, and they were out ahead of me, and I said, well, there's Alexander Hamilton's grave. This was before the play came out.
Right.
And I won't name her to keep from embarrassing her, but the gal in front of me, she turned around and said, who's Alexander Hamilton? And I said, take out a $10 bill and you'll find out. So, yeah. I
want to look at this picture again. Look at how close they are to each other.
Yeah, I'm not sure what I've seen a lot of movies, not about just this story, but in other dueling scenarios, and I don't know what was typically the distance whether you
10 paces.
Whether you start in some of these that you see on movies, and who knows whether that's accurate. You started with back to back. You walked so many paces and turned, and then the commands were given.
Right.
I don't know if that's how they did this particular duel or not. It obviously did not work out. Yep. And this, although Burr survived, this basically ruined his political career.
Right.
Any ambition. In fact, I don't think Thomas Jefferson even kept him on the ticket for re-election.
Well, back in those days, whoever lost in the election was just the vice president. You didn't run together.
You might want to check on that.
I'm pretty sure.
Because I read that, and Jefferson said, you're not going to be with me on this.
But the way he was vice president then is because they ran against each other, and Burr lost.
That may have been. But apparently for the second term,
right,
for Jefferson,
Jefferson was the president at the time. He could change the rules.
You're Mudd, to me,
yeah.
Which is another history lesson about Samuel Mudd that has nothing to do. But it did have to do with an assassination. There's a lot of political jokes that are going on everywhere, every day. And you can't even watch the evening news now without it almost being, Are you kidding me? So if you think that our political situation today is a mess, remember what we just read from 1804.
Maybe we should just bring back dueling.
Yeah, this was the vice president here and one of the important people concerning the economic function of our country. So politics has always been dirty business.
Yes.
Yeah. You have an event you're covering today up in Fairfield County.
Yeah, the Picktown Palooza.
And it starts today?
It's a 3-day festival. It starts today. So I'll be going up there, and tomorrow on the show, I'll show you what you can check out the second and third days.
And I'm assuming we'll have something on our YouTube eventually?
Yeah, probably.
Most likely.
Yes, we will.
We will. So you'll be able to see that. You'll see what Aaron's nice trip to Picktown will be like today. No special editions for tomorrow morning, but as Aaron said, we'll have something on the Picktown Palooza during this broadcast, as well as on our Litter Media YouTube site tomorrow. So until we see each other again on Friday, July the 12th, for
Aaron Glandon,
this is Mike Smith, and for Dan Ramey, who's off this week. Dan, we're thinking about you, buddy. If you've seen Dan's post, you know why we're saying that on Facebook. He's got some back issues down there, but we are praying for you that you'll get a good turn of events, so to speak, in that issue. But we'll be back with you tomorrow. So for Aaron, this is Mike Smith saying so long from all of us here at Litter Media Live.